I disagree.
Okay, so we are sharing our unpopular nerd opinions. Did you ask for viewers to submit theirs, Troy?
No, not on this one. Not on this one. Like we're trying something out here, but I think next time we're gonna start.
You didn't want to ooze toxicity this week, man?
You said what?
You didn't want to ooze some toxicity in those comments this week, man?
I mean,
dude.
We tried to give him a break. I tried to give him a break this week. I was like, I feel like I stir up so much trouble on the Free Comic Book Day page all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the Free Comic Book Day pages, they are more than willing to participate.
Yeah. Always and forever. So, long story short, unpopular opinions. Ashton, you want to just go ahead and commandeer the whole thing and decide who goes first?
Yeah, I do want to commandeer the whole thing. I'm looking forward to this. Great. Okay. I want to start with you, Troy, because I feel like you always go last. So switch it up. God.
Okay. All right. My unpopular opinion. Actually, I didn't realize how unpopular it was until I told Ashton what it was yesterday. She audibly gasped. Like, she was just like, "Oh, you can't say that." And I'm like, well, now I gotta say it, right? I'm not actually the first person to say this, so I can't even take credit for it. But like, I don't think that they should. Well, I think they should recast the Black Panther, and it seems like it's a moot point now. And it seems like they are pretty much barreling ahead with Black Panther 2 without a character playing T'Challa, and I don't know how they're going to navigate that. I mean, we'll see what happens. Like, I don't know how that's going to work exactly. Rumor has it that the focus is going to be on the culture of Wakanda and the people of Wakanda, particularly the inner circle of the kingdom, right? Like his mom and Shuri and I guess M'Baku, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see how that works. But my big thing is, look, I do want Letitia Wright to eventually play Shuri as a Black Panther. I think it's actually literally.
Can I ask a clarifying question here?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Are you in favor of them recasting T'Challa or recasting Black Panther as a hero?
Well, recasting T'Challa, I should say. I see where you're going with this, but yeah, recasting T'Challa.
Because you could do the Shuri, you could do the Shuri thing and like hand the mantle over to her or whatever, and that would work fine. And a lot of people seem to be on board with that. But the T'Challa thing seems like not great. I mean, not a great idea.
See, here's my thing, but my thing is Hollywood does this all the time. Like, they recast Dumbledore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of
but does it feel like it's inappropriate because he passed? Like, is it one thing to recast because the actor is like bad or wants too much money or whatever, and is it another thing?
Yeah.
Well, the actor that they recast Dumbledore, like the original actor died, if I remember correctly. So
I have my Harry Potter
that's
knowledge
right.
is like negative 400
on Harry Potter. That's fair. But anyway, I say all this to say, look, like, I want eventually a Shuri to take over the Black Panther mantle. Like, I want that. Like, it's actually literally my favorite Black Panther story. It is my absolute favorite Black Panther story out of all Black Panther stories.
Doom War?
But what's up?
Is that Doom War?
It's right before Doom War. But Doom War comes out of that. So it's the one right before Doom War. It's actually on the heels of the Dark Avengers event. It's during the Dark Avengers event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, I wanted to take up the mantle. I want that, but I feel like there's just so many more T'Challa specific stories to tell. Particularly, I want T'Challa versus Namor, and that is me being selfish. That's me being a nerd, right? But that's what I want. I don't want Shuri versus Namor. I want Shuri to be the voice of dissent and the person that's angry at T'Challa for the way that he goes about dealing with Namor. You know what I mean? But also, I think, like, on a cultural level, right? I think that because you have to go there with this, right? I think you shouldn't really take the black male superhero off the chest, off the table so soon. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
We got one movie, Civil War and Infinity War, and like, I get it. Like, he was in 3 films, but only one of those is actually his movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want them to do the Rogue One Princess Leia thing. I don't want them to do that, right? Like, I don't want like some CG version of it. I just say maybe you should recast the role. Now, chances are, look, what actor is going to take that role?
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. I was like, do you have someone like
a volunteers tribute?
You volunteers tribute.
I'll take it.
You had to hear first. Joaquin's going to be appearing in the next Black Panther movie, and he's also making a reappearance into the new Spider-Man film.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's look again. It's just me being a selfish nerd. Like, I want the stories that I read in the comics to be on screen, and I want them. I still can't catch myself wanting them to happen the way that they happen in the comics, right? I want Doctor Doom to show up and like knock the wind out of T'Challa and like, force Shuri to like take up the mantle. I want that story, and so it's kind of it's interesting. I I have faith that Marvel will figure it out. Like, I mean, they get better writers who are way more talented than I am who can figure this stuff out, and filmmakers. But at the same time, I'm just like, do we really have to keep going on? Like, can we just recast them? That's just me.
Troy, I see you, Troy, but for different reasons. I just want to have that moment where like Sue Storm finally shows up in Wakanda, and she's like, "I'm married, Black Panther," and he's like, "I don't care."
Wait, did that happen?
I mean, I don't know. I'm reading. I'm like doing a whole binge of like John Byrne Fantastic Four. Sue Storm is very sus. She's incredibly sus.
Yeah, that's fair. No, actually, I do remember her being a little sketchy in some of the John Byrne books.
Those children are not reads. We know it.
That's questionable behavior there. Well, I'm sorry, Ashton. What were you about to say?
Go ahead.
Is it gone? Is it gone forever?
It's a no-win situation though. Recast him or don't recast him. Like, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
No, you're absolutely right about that. Like, it's good. I mean, it's a tough position for them to be in as a company. I know it's got to be about public perception being everything it is, and like, I don't think anybody at Disney really expected that movie to be such a huge cultural touchstone. The cultural touchstone that it ended up being.
Right.
And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, Black Panther is the end all and be all. It's the best MCU movie. I'm not one of those people, actually. I don't feel that way.
Really?
But at the same time, there's other MCU movies I like way more than Black Panther, Okay. But at the same time, there's other I like Blade, number one, more than Black Panther, if we want to talk about Black superheroes. But at the same time, I love the attitude. I have to recognize how important it was to a whole generation of kids, particularly Black kids, particularly Black male kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's kind of like, okay, now you're going to take them off the board. And I know that the comic book still exists. I understand that. But we have to be somewhat realistic here.
Right.
That audience doesn't necessarily always translate to the comic book directly.
Right.
So, anyway. And also, one more thing, sorry. There's also a possibility that, like, look, what'll happen here, right? Chadwick Boseman dies in real life, right? The Marvel movies don't replace him; they just kind of continue on without him as a character. And then, look, maybe the comics will start doing it. You know what I mean? Then I'm like, that kind of sucks. Like, why can't we have all these things all at once? So, anyway,
the character's bigger than the actor. No, I think that
yeah. That's just all I'm saying. So anyway,
I feel you.
I'll shut up.
Joaquin, gotta follow that up. What's your unpopular opinion?
All right, let's see. How can I make myself more hated than Troy right now? I don't know, man. All right, I got one. I think that. Okay, so switching gears from Marvel to DC real quick. I know this is like a quintessential story that everyone hails as like the thing that kind of like made DC. I think it's dumb. Crisis on Infinite Earths ruined DC Comics.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Marv Wolfman. I love you, George Perez. You're a nice guy. I didn't have the heart to tell you this when I met you, but y'all kind of destroyed the entire landscape of DC for like 40 years. Like, and they're still trying to like put the genie back in the bottle with continuity and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a part of me definitely agrees that like DC is not continuity. Continuity is not DC's thing, and DC should not try to do continuity. And I actually kind of like the current, what people perceive to be the current approach of them divorcing themselves from continuity and just telling these little pocket stories that may or may not connect. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So I get that. I can't blame Infinite Crisis for that. Like, I feel like that's putting the cart before the horse. I think that I can definitely blame any of the 2000s crossovers that came after that. And like, who do you decide to blame for that? I'll leave that to your imagination. So.
Yeah, I know. It's just a thing where I think it was such a simple fix for a very simple problem. But I also understand in writing comics, I've started writing comics myself. I understand that there's a whole thing with crunch time, and you think that every move you make can result in the end of the world. So I get that, like, especially like on an editorial level, you got to get these books out, you got to like figure everything out, and if you got like 50 books out, you gotta. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of high tensions, and people are going to make some decisions where they think, this is going to fix everything. I don't know. I just think Crisis was it was one of those things that was a good idea at the time, but it had like horribly negative ramifications down the line. And because I'm not sure if I think I've talked about this with you, Troy, but the big reason Crisis was done was because a lot of writers and editors were confused about like, well, we're telling a Batman story. Is this Earth 2 Batman or is this Earth 1 Batman? Is this Earth 2 Superman? Is this Earth 1 Superman?
You're right.
Guys, just put a trade dress on the issue and say this takes place in Earth 2. This takes place in Earth 1. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to like break the universe and then put it back together 15 years later and then break it apart again. Like, yeah, no.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% wrong. It's dead wrong about Crisis.
I'm sorry, man.
This is why we call it Unpopular Opinions. This is why we call it Unpopular Opinions. All right, we're actually coming up on our hour. So, Ashton, you want to give your unpopular opinion?
Yeah, dude. Okay, so my unpopular opinion is Dune related because it was originally supposed to come out on Friday. So
it's a sore point.
It is. I'm grumpy. I think that Dune will completely go over the head of your average moviegoer. I think a lot of it will be overlooked or not land. Like, you can be an average moviegoer and go and watch Dune and you'll have fun. The story will be great. There will be a lot of action. The Fremen will murder everybody. Harkonnen will plot. They'll ride the sandworms. Like, there's tons of cool subplots, and you can enjoy it on a superficial level and have a good time and not feel like you've wasted your time or money. However, most of what Frank Herbert accomplishes in Dune is in the subtext and the things he tries to say about like loyalty and the way we interact with each other and why we do and how we treat the environment and what that says about us. And all of those things, I think, will not land with your average moviegoer because I don't think a lot of people go to the movies for that kind of commentary.
No, I think that's absolutely fair. I think what you're going to get is like a lot of. I kind of felt like that was almost a given. Like, you know what I mean? First of all, I don't know a lot about Dune, but I do know at least a little bit about how it's perceived in science fiction. You know, and the fact that they were trying to adapt this for a second time, right?
Yeah,
was already kind of lofty, and also actually it's Denis Villeneuve, isn't it? He's the director.
Yeah,
he just did the Blade Runner movie. And I was actually going to say, I just dawned on me as I was saying this, it's probably going to be like Blade Runner or even Mad Max Fury Road, like where it's going to be held up by people who really love it, the people who understand the content of it, but it's not going to be a blockbuster.
No,
if that makes sense. It's not going to be like this, $200 million. I'm sorry, this $1 billion monster that just takes over the box office. It's just a little too. I don't know. Would you say heady, Ashton?
Yeah.
It's just maybe a little cerebral. Too heady. Yeah, a little cerebral.
And also, to Ashton's point, I think you're dead on the money. Where I think it's going to go over a lot of people's heads, but also we're in a weird point now where films are kind of strictly seen as entertainment and not seen as art.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just go to the movies to be entertained. They don't really want to think about what they're watching. They just want to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, I think it was Jack Nicholson kind of made that prediction in like the 70s when he's talking about like Jaws and how the blockbuster kind of killed
Oh,
cinema.
Yeah.
Like he was saying what like Martin Scorsese was saying, like, you know, a
2
year
years
ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I completely sympathize with that.
Yeah. No, that's a whole nother conversation. Don't get me started on Spielberg.
Didn't
and
Alan
how
Moore just
everybody
say the
blamed
same
him.
thing like a couple
He
months
did.
ago?
He did.
Yeah. But he says that
Um,
like every 5 years.
Yeah, he does. That's true. I mean, but that's cat's already out of the bag. And I mean, I understand that concern. And it sucks that, like, these art house films, which I think Dune almost classify as, I think ultimately it's going to classify as one, even though it's got a major
Yeah.
budget.